How did you get here?
I did tell you I had my ways through Illuvians when I introduced you to the Inquisitor, did I not?
The Illuvians in general, yes, but not the Dreadwolf's crossroads.
I would think you have more pressing questions at the moment. Questions about Solus and Mythal?
Mythal?
The two gods have always been linked, have they not? First, when Mythal bade her companion spirit to abandon the Fade and take on mortal form. Then, when Solus spilled Mythal's mortal blood, that he might absorb her power as his own.
Wait, how do you know exactly what we saw of Solus's past?
Think upon it, Rook. You saw for yourself in the Dreadwolf's memories. When Mythal stood against the gods' manipulations of the Blight, she was betrayed and struck down. Yet she survived and returned ages later to aid the Inquisition in its hour of need. How?
If I knew, I wouldn't be here asking you.
You are not a fool, Rook. Do not play at it. You observed that the first elves were spirits, did you not? Mythal was a spirit turned elven. And when her body was struck down, to spirit she returned. Her essence sheltered in a willing mortal vessel. Over the centuries, she journeyed from host to host, slowly amassing her former power anew. Until once again, she was struck down, on this occasion, by Solus. He absorbed her power, but not her memories.
Then where did they... Wait. You?
As you say.
Hold on. If you're really Mythal, the elves making bodies out of the Titans, the Blight, Solus and the Veil, that was your fault.
Am I now responsible for the events Mythal set in motion thousands of years before my birth?
You sure don't have any problem claiming her name.
Would you have realized had you not observed Solus's memories? I think not.
What? That was like how Elganon and Gillenane can talk in your head, but...
'Twas Mythal you heard, her echoes. Yet I am not the goddess returned.
What are you, then?
I once feared Mythal would consume me were I to carry her, but 'twas not so. I remain free-willed and mortal. What I now possess is but a spark of Mythal, shadowed memories through which to sift for meaning. As to our admixture, I suspect you have questions.
So, there's the soul of an elven god inside you. How does that even happen?
Mythal's last host was my mother, Flemeth.
Oh.
When I learned she intended me to become the next receptacle of an ancient god's soul, I feared naught would be left of my own. It inevitably came to pass on a deep night. I was awakened by the presence of a blaze of magic in the shape of a woman who both was and was not my mother.
This isn't the strangest thing I've heard, but it's close.
'Tis difficult to describe, even now. Mythal's memories were both gift and burden, this blazing woman told me, but I must accept them of my own accord. The decision was paralyzing. What would it mean to become such a host? What would be lost if I refused? In the end, 'twas something in my mother's voice which guided me.
What was that?
Regret. Not the regret of a god, but of a mother who knew she would never see me again. And so, my mind remains my own. What I gained was knowledge, both Mythal's and of those who bore her.
Do you have information we can use against Gillenane or Elganon? Or Solus?
The last time Mythal faced Elganon and Gillenane, she was struck down by the very dagger you now carry.
What about Solus?
You may recall he murdered Mythal's former host to claim her godly might as his own. I hoard no untapped magical secrets, Rook. What I do possess, I share freely with you and the Veil Jumpers.
All right. How can you carry Mythal's soul if you're not an elf?
Her spark has sheltered within both elves and humans who were sympathetic to her in thought and circumstance. Mythal's last host was a woman wronged, trapped by those sworn to love her. We may readily imagine their kinship.
The one elven god who's actually trying to protect us instead of trying to destroy the world, and you're not even an elf?
I swear to you I did not ask for this inheritance, but to refuse would have been to lose Mythal for all time.
It's just... the more truth I learn about our gods, the worse it all becomes. You would have met Solus in the Inquisition, right?
I did indeed. 'Twas before I possessed Mythal's memories. At the time I thought Solus a scowling elven apostate whose sole passion was finding arguments. He heard me, in all my ignorance, expound on the histories of the elven people, explaining legends he had witnessed himself.
Bet he loved that.
'Tis not a memory that brings me pride.
You didn't come out here just to tell me you're Mythal.
I am not Mythal in her entirety, but yes, the Dreadwolf has occasion to visit you in dreams, where he portions out advice. And now, after finding his memories, you have peered into his deepest sorrows. Tell me then, what do you make of Solus?
I should ask you. Mythal knew Solus better than anyone.
I would influence your answer. Or do you mean to discover if I would stand directly against the Dread Wolf, were there a need?
Would you?
I shall aid you in any way, but that, even had I the power. What has passed between Solus and Mythal, I beg you, do not ask this of me again.
Well, Solus killed the Titans, destroyed the ancient elves, and wants to ruin this world to bring back his old one. But he'll always make sure you hear just how sad he is about all the murder.
If that is how you see him, perhaps the Dreadwolf's words have not served as well as he might wish.
I'll say.
'Tis not malice which made Solus your opponent, but conviction, a belief that only he may halt what he set in motion. Yet Solus was once beloved of Mythal. 'Tis his very loyalty and love for his people that led to the tragedy we now face. You may be in a position to determine how it ends, more so than either of you might realize.
If that's what it takes.
Such determination. Have you not even a tremor of doubt?
Wouldn't do me any good.
If you would shape the outcome of your battle, I've one last secret to share. When Mythal was struck down by the other gods, it was with her own lyrium dagger, the dagger you now carry. Solus recovered it from Elganon, and from it extracted a fragment of Mythal that had lain hidden within its depths. This fragment, a younger sister to the one I carry, if you will, resides here, in the crossroads. I can open the way for you, find her, survive the encounter, and the essence you obtain will aid you in times to come.
I'll survive. What do I need to know?
You know Solus, and have seen Elganon, and memories of Mythal. They are creatures of emotion, as all spirits are. The fragment of Mythal that resides in me lived among mortals for thousands of years. She has grown wiser and more patient. This younger sister has not. She is the essence of Mythal as a god. She is unlikely to listen to polite requests, and though she is but a fragment of the goddess, the battle will test you sorely.
If she's just going to attack us, why tell us about her at all? We have enough enemies already.
A fragment of a god's essence is a powerful thing. It may give you options against Elganon and Gillenane, or against the Dreadwolf himself, should he prove as cunning and treacherous as ever.
If I were to try to talk with her, do you have any suggestions?
She will demand respect, but detest flattery. She appreciates righteous anger, but will not tolerate pity. She is, for want of better phrasing, prickly. But if you are determined to try, then I wish you luck.
You would know this aspect of Mythal better than anyone. Could you try talking to her?
I dare say she would attack me on sight.
Spirits can't get along with fragments of each other.
Spirits, certainly. But the aspects of a self-righteous god who have walked different paths for ages? One bears the insult of her betrayal by the Evanurus, and then by Solus, as fresh wounds, insult upon injury. The other once fell in love with an Alamari chieftain and lived happily in a swamp for centuries. Each reminds the other that another path existed, that they could have been wrong, and nothing angers Mythal like being wrong.
What kind of spirit was Mythal before she became an elf? I know Solus is elven for pride.
Mythal enjoyed ruling and having power, but it came not from the overweening desire to crush resistance, as is the case with Elganon. The emotion that inspired her might best be described as benevolence, a guiding hand, inclined to kindness. But like any spirit, when angered or twisted against her purpose, a more violent aspect arose. Where the Dreadwolf's wisdom gave way to pride when the world did not meet his standards, Mythal's benevolence gave way to retribution. After all, when kindness fails, the guilty must be punished.
Thank you for the information, Morrigan.
There is one more thing, if I may. Something whispered not by myself, but Mythal. The elves have learned many of the glories and horrors of ancient Elvenon. Yet your people live in this world now as the old elves never could. Know it as they could not. There is your strength. 'Tis why you shall surpass what came before one day.
Did Mythal see this? Is it a prediction?
A hope from a mother to her distant children, no less beloved than any before them.
A god's fragment, sharper than the whole. Prevail, or be sundered completely.
We're getting close to where Morrigan said that other fragment of Mythal was. That has to be her.
How should we do this, Rook? Do you think she'll talk to us?
Guess we'll find out.
You are Rook. I have seen you and your companions. I never again expected to see my children in the Dreadwolf's crossroads. And you know who I am?
Mythal.
The part of me that survived betrayal by the rest of the Evanurus, if this can be called surviving. Solus. He drew me from the dagger that struck me down, but what is left of me can only survive here. I cannot return to the world, and even the true Fade is denied me. All I can do is watch. Have you come to seek the blessing of your god? Or did you come to ask your god to sacrifice herself to help you defeat the monsters Elganon and Gillenane have become?
I came here to ask for your help. The gods have endangered the world, and...
You dare explain to me what they are doing? You are 1,000 years from knowing the proper words.
We saw Solus's memories, his regrets.
You saw the recollection he cultivated like a tree, twisting to catch the sun. You wish for my help? Convince me. Make your case, and I will yield my essence willingly to help you against Elganon and Gillenane. Fail, and I shall kill you for wasting my time, or you will kill me and obtain my essence in doing so. A harder-edged, simpler version. It has been centuries since a petitioner stood before me, so why should I help you?
If I don't stop the gods, the whole world will be corrupted by the blight.
That is why you must succeed, so tell me why I must help you.
We know the truth about the blight. We know it came from the imprisoned dreams of the Titans after you and Solus defeated them.
And?
Stopping the blight mattered enough for you to talk with Solus, even after he rebelled against you. It mattered enough for you to stand against the other gods.
And I was struck down for doing so, betrayed by those I had ruled beside for centuries.
You made the difficult choice to protect your home, because it was the right thing to do. Help me do the same.
Not bad, but not enough. Let us speak of something else.
You can't want Elganon and Gillenane to rule the world. Not after what they did to you.
I ruled alongside them for centuries. I bear them no love now, and they were ever flawed, as all rulers are. Yet they were better than the others who threatened your ancestors. Monsters like the Titans, or selfish fools like Anaris. Set the blight aside, and tell me why I should help you topple your own gods.
My team and I killed Anaris.
Really?
He was using the chaos of the weakened Veil to return to the world. He was going to turn elves into demons.
He is a monster.
Was a monster. I am not a god, but I protect the elven people just the same.
Yes. I suppose you do. I find you worthy, Rook. I have spent thousands of years watching. I shall miss that. But if what I am can protect the innocent and smite the guilty, this is what remains of me. I give it to you freely. Use it to protect this world with kindness when possible and cunning when necessary.
I will. Thank you.
I offer one further boon. I cannot enter the physical world or the pure Fade, but in this place, I still carry some power. Evil has intruded here. The blight, seeded by Elganon and Gillenane. Find it, and when you meet your greatest challenge, I will fly one last time.
The essence of the Protector. Like a piece of the sun. I've never felt something so alive.
I don't want to ruin the moment, but what do we do with it?
God knows her moment. At least her essence does. When the time comes, we'll be ready. Myrna, hello. I assume Vorgoth's not far behind.
We have her, Rook. We have her. We know exactly what she's planning.
The professor asked us to research the artifact that came into the possession of Johanna Hezenkos.
She carries a gloaming lantern.
That bad as it sounds?
They were fashioned in ages past by unscrupulous necromancers. The lanterns steal and concentrate life.
Johanna could use it to leech life from hundreds at a time. An endless source of power.
I hate to say it, but it's sort of clever.
Johanna was never short on cleverness. But we found her.
She has returned to Blackthorn Manor.
Hezenkos intends to hold a soiree.
That can't be her whole plan.
No, but I propose a small group infiltrate Johanna's lair while she's distracted and destroy her lantern.
Let's do it.
Vorgoth and I must return to the necropolis.
Hunt well.
If only we could make Johanna see reason.
You tried before. She seems stubborn.
Perhaps that's why she attained immortality, while I quake on the threshold. If I make my own bid for lichdom. Oh, it's no use pretending this hasn't stirred up that old dread of my own mortality.
So let's put your old roommate down.
Colleague, never roommates, thank goodness. Oh, Johanna was never beset by these sort of fears.
Well, a little fear's healthy. You'll feel better once we crash her lair and destroy that lantern. Promise. Okay, so the plan is basically to sneak around, find Hezenkos' lantern, and smash it. That's quite a crowd over in the manor.
Johanna's gathering. If she's mingling there, we'll be spotted. Fortunately, we have someone who could pass as a servant.
Manfred, can you pour fancy wine and nod? Send him in.
Right, Manfred. You're to find Johanna's guests and help us gather information on where her workshop might be. We'll be watching in case anything occurs.
Something's gonna occur.
Once we find and destroy Johanna's lantern, we'll end whatever she's planning. Hopefully before she introduces the lantern to her guests.
That should be enough time for Manfred to blend in as a servant.
Let's find a place inside to observe him, quietly.
Right. Let's find another way in.
Johanna's last guests must already be in attendance.
There's a lot of people here. Hezenkos must be planning to drain their souls with her lantern.
And after that?
Raise more undead, I'd wager. But no ordinary revival would require such a massive store of magic.
Sounds like the party's in that main hall where we confronted Hezenkos.
Perfect. We can watch Manfred discreetly from the balconies.
And see if Hezenkos has that lantern on her.
There's Manfred. And Johanna.
But no lantern.
Now, you were saying about a shrine in the manor.
Yes, a shrine revealed by a spectral tome, which, as an expert, I could read if our host ever lets me into the library.
An ancestral shrine. I could question the deceased there about the location of Johanna's lantern.
Well, if a book can lead us to the shrine, let's hit the library. The library's to the east, right? Where we closed Hezenkos' portal into the Fade.
Why did she return to this mansion?
Johanna must have a workshop hidden here. Likely where she's prepared whatever she plans to empower with this lantern.
We're not alone here.
Johanna's creatures, we must deal with them quickly. I'd expected Johanna to post more guards.
Maybe she didn't want to scare her guests. Let's see if we can find that book pointing to the ancestral shrine. What about this? That book just snarled at me.
Ah, there's our spectral tome. Well done.
It's not opening.
One must be delicate. That guest of Johanna's claimed to be an expert in spectral literature.
And was interested in the shrine. Let's have Manfred hand him the book, see what he says. Were you waiting for us? Manfred, take this tome to the man asking about the shrine, please.
Don't worry. We'll watch from the balcony.
What's this? The Spectral Guide to Blackthorn Manor? There now. I only want to look up one thing. There is an ancestral shrine in the northwest wing.
Perfect. Let's go to the shrine.
Yes, the deceased there should be most helpful in finding Johanna's lantern.
I've never been to a party with so many mages without being hired to kill one of them.
Were your targets always mages?
Not all the time. But how do we kill Hezenkos? Does she even breathe?
It's unlikely. The stilling of the lungs is one of the first blessings of undeath.
Don't worry. We'll find a way.
Ah, the shrine's locked.
We must find a... Manfred?
What's he got there? Is this a key to the shrine?
Excellent, Manfred. Oh my! A body from the House of the Verheims, prepared during the Storm Age.
Not the time.
It's a rare find outside of the... Very well.
Time to find Hezenkos. He's all yours, Emmerich.
By flame and seal, by light and flood, open your eyes once more.
Who dares disturb?
Friends to the dead.
Friends, this one was abandoned, lost.
Emmerich, it's getting noisy.
He's unusually obstinate. Speak! Where is Hezenkos?
Prove yourselves. What claim have you to the deceased? A willing dead companion. This one concedes. Hezenkos makes a thing that should not be. Red tapestry. Look there.
Rook, did you hear that? Manfred just...
I know. Also, we should move.
Oh, he can talk. Manfred, say something else. Come now, you just spoke.
We have to go.
Yes, yes.
More undead.
Johanna's work. We're on the right track.
All right. Where's that red tapestry? This wall looks... Secret door.
Manfred, could you please squeeze through and open the door from the other side? Aha! I knew I didn't imagine him speaking.
How can Manfred talk now?
He began as a wisp that embodied what most wisps do, curiosity. I knew he was learning quickly outside the necropolis, but this level of complexity is remarkable.
Does a skeleton need to learn anything? He's not even alive.
Ah, but Lucanus, what is life considered holistically?
Why did I ask that?
Good work, Manfred.
Hope this leads to where Hezenkos is keeping that lantern.
I can only imagine what she's planning to use it for. This must lead to Johanna's workshop.
What's that through the wall?
Oh my word!
Mierda.
Johanna, even half-lich, you can't control something this massive.
That glow on the skeleton up there? That's Hezenkos' lantern.
She's going to use the life stored in it to reanimate that monstrosity. Quickly, we must reach the lantern.
That was a lot of undead.
You may as well leave for the fuel in a bonfire.
I'm seeing why Hezenkos failed that lich morality test.
Unbelievable! Johanna's stolen a chamber from the Grand Necropolis and transposed it under Blackthorn Manor.
Mages. You want contracts in your life?
Don't think I can't sense your undead.
Oh, I wish Manfred had stayed about.
We'll be fine. We'll handle this.
There you are.
And can you release that ladder? There's the lantern. You gonna free the spirits inside?
We must, before we can destroy it.
Like back when you were freeing those spirits Hezenkos trapped in the manor? That took a lot out of you.
I must try, Rook.
Emmerich?
There are too many trapped spirits. I'm sorry. I can't. Another lash of power might end me.
What's that, Volkaren? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
Shame you lived through it.
Petty words birthed from fear.
Johanna! Listen to me. You're right. I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss having a friend that could.
Yes. Always the idealist.
I'm sorry Lichdom failed you. I swear I would have helped you had you come to me. But puppeting this creature...
Puppet? Puppet? Do you think I'm staying a failed lich? I won't command my greatest creation! I will become it! Colleagues, interfering Templars, inept rivals, you all have a place in my heart. And tonight you will fuel my ascension at the cost of your miserable lives. Move! You think you can stop me? Once I get rid of you, I will merge with my greatest work and conquer this city!
Emmerich, can she do that?
Yes! She's attempting full possession with the life of the people here.
We need to stop Hezenkos long enough to destroy that lantern.
With that much life inside it, the backlash could...
We don't have a choice. Once I destroy you wretches, my union with my creation will be complete. Aren't you resistant? Fine! I'll go down there myself!
About time.
Silence! I'll crush you myself if I must. It's touching that you brought your new friends to die with you, Volkaren. I'll be sure to bury you all in the same tomb!
This isn't working. I can't break the lantern.
You think I'd leave myself vulnerable to you? Enough playing! Your pointless lives will fuel my triumph!
We have to move! She's draining life from us. We must find shelter.
Right. You can't free the spirits in that lantern?
It might kill me and not even work. No living thing can approach it and... Manfred! Come back!
Any last words, Volkaren, before I...
Kick her ass, Emmerich.
By the spirits bound here, night and shadow, light and blood.
What are you doing?
Let your chains loosen. Let the fade draw close.
You'll never succeed, you old fool!
I release you to the air.
No! You small-minded!
Emmerich, how's Manfred holding together?
We must go to the necropolis. His body could only take so much. But I underestimated him, Rook. What bravery in the heart of the dead. And how he grew. Manfred disobeyed me beautifully. He was his own soul at the end.
Can you bring him back?
I will ask.
Emmerich Volkaren. You were not expected so soon.
Wondered what your bosses looked like.
I'm lucky. The Lich Lords can't always respond so quickly. My lord, I come regarding Manfred, my fallen companion.
Yes, there are ways to return his spirit. But should you do this, Lichdom falls from your grasp.
What? Why?
Lichdom is long. If I'm to stand outside death, I must make peace with others passing through it.
What would we otherwise become? How many exceptions till tyranny? Revive him and remain mortal. Or let him slumber and join us.
Emmerich.
Manfred chose to help us. Am I too weak to accept his well-earned rest? I yearn for Lichdom Rook. That leap into something greater, that everlasting light. Do I revive him and live out my days? Or do I honor death by letting him rest and protect this world through immortality?
Mortality's a hard price, but you'd miss Manfred.
Oh, of course I would. But a Watcher should be more accepting of loss, of grief, of his own death in turn.
You're braver than you know, Emmerich. You've always risked your life. Against Hezenkos, against the gods.
Death's abyss always recedes with someone to brave it for.
I think facing a lot of things would be easier if Manfred was back.
Oh, he was fearless. He has so much potential, Rook. So far to grow.
Then help him do it.
You're absolutely right. I'll need your help. Rest easy, Manfred. We'll soon have you back amongst the living. I've made my preparations, Rook. Will you help me restore Manfred to the world of the living?
I'll do whatever I can.
Thank you. We must go to the necropolis once you're ready.
Okay, Emmerich. How's this work?
We'll need assistance finding Manfred's wisp and drawing it back into his body. By pact and pledge, I seek an audience. By light and breath, let wisdom come. You've met these spirits before, but I've never properly introduced you. Rook, allow me to present two Necropolis Guardians, the keepsake of ages and far-sighted curio.
There has got to be a story behind those names.
Why, yes. It began many and many mortal ages ago.
Yet things aren't so slow we should dwell on that with guests here.
friends. My assistant, my ward, Manfred, sacrificed himself to save us.
We'd heard you'd abandoned Lichdom to bring him back. Your work, your dreams.
You paid the price. But it seems there are many flickers of curiosity in the Fade.
And only one you seek. Draw his wisp near. Speak.
Can I help?
Yes, please. Think of Manfred. Tell me something you felt about him. Concentrate.
He was always excited to be around you, Emmerich. If spirits can learn to love, he loved you.
In the sea of the Fade, there are wakes left by our passing. Our desires, our fears. I leave this beacon for you, Manfred. Follow my voice. Return to me, please. Manfred?
It worked.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful indeed.
Thanks for stitching that seam on my coat, Fred. It was coming loose. And nice new threads yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, we needed something to mark him as an apprentice around the necropolis.
It's a good fit. See you around.
Yes.
Oh, you know what to call me. Okay, bring it down now.
He's excited for his training. Manfred's spellcraft is coming along nicely, more or less. Some undead have the potential to cast magic. I believe his was unlocked by his journey through the Fade.
What was that like?
Dunno.
You mean you don't know?
Dunno.
We must work on that enunciation. Why don't you fetch the primer?
Oh, our talking skeleton is learning more words.
He's already picked up shan't from somewhere. As he grows, Manfred will better learn to take care of himself. I won't worry so much when I pass on.
How do you feel about that last part?
I have moments of regret for what Lichdom might have been. But none would make me exchange this for anything.